Hello, my name is Ken. Welcome back to my Fundamentals of GeoGuessr Duels series. In this series, we started with a brand new GeoGuessr account, and we started with just the very basic information, like how to identify each continent, and we've slowly been adding more and more details on top of that so that we can get better at the game and be more competitive, especially as we go up the ranks. Our opponents are going to be more competitive, so we need to continue learning more details. So today we've been starting to see some players that are getting better in the Central African countries. So let me switch on over to the map here, and I'll switch my camera. So previously we had mostly just been clicking in Central Africa when we see these countries here. And that is just not going to be good enough as we get going. The other country I wanted to address too is Tunisia. So in the last episode, I think I told you guys to click UAE and not worry about Tunisia, and we're kind of playing with fire there a little bit. So let's take care of that one. There's 7 countries total that I wanted to take care of. But I think that's too much to do in one episode. That's a lot of information. The point of the channel is to give you bits and pieces of information at a time and not overwhelm you with like, this is everything. So I figured we'd start in the west of the country and work our way east, and we'd go so Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, and then Tunisia today. So this is our click map, and we'll come back to that in a minute, like we often do. So let's start with Senegal. So in Senegal, the thing that I like to think about for Senegal is, have you ever watched a movie and they are filming in Mexico and they just put this like orange filter on it? That's Senegal, but for Africa. So as you can see, like a lot of these brown, orangey brown colors. Senegal does have a few unique trucks. So this silver truck, you can kind of make out the very back of it. Um, so that's one of the major clues there. Actually, there's a famous clip of Rainbow where he is staring at he can only see the blur, and well, he didn't have the arrows, and he looks at it and goes, this has got to be the Senegal gradient, and of course he clicks it, and that's the country. So it's become kind of a meme lately. Um, Here's a look at a taxi in Senegal. We'll see this in the Plonket guide. So in Senegal, they like, and actually a few of the African countries, some of the taxis will, entire panels will be different colors from the rest of the car. In Senegal, the taxis tend to be yellow with black highlight panels. So you can kind of see the black on the sides here, and then the rest of the car is yellow. And Senegal is, sorry, Ghana is the other one that we're going to look at that does a similar thing. Um, Senegal also has a lot of French style architecture. So when we talked about France and Spain, we talked about like the lat pull down bar pull topper. So that is very common to see in Senegal. Also, the pole kind of has like the steps or the ladder like you will see in France. You also see the French bollards, so the cone with the red. I'll show you that in the Plonket guide. And then just more like it's pretty barren landscape, very, very dry. It does get a little more green as you go south, but still you'll see these French style infrastructure. So, and then of course, like you can just barely make out the bottom of the truck. And let's switch over to the guide quickly just so that we can kind of do the same things here. So the silver and the white trucks here. Sometimes you can see the car bars. They do drive on the right. I think all of the countries that we're looking at today drive on the right. I'm not 100% sure about Tunisia, but I think so. Here's the French bollard that I talked about. So it's like the cone on the top and then the red reflector. And of course the ladder pole, the lat pull down bar. And here's another example of the taxis. And I think that should get you to Senegal quite often. Um, so one thing you'll notice is I haven't focused so much on the car meta, and Ghana is the perfect reason. So this earlier this week they replaced a lot of the coverage in Ghana. So I'm gonna just come down to this one. So 2 weeks ago, if you were in Ghana and you looked at the car, you would see this black tape. We saw this in one of the very first episodes of this series. So um, that has been replaced in quite a bit of the coverage. So you are no longer going to see that. So I'd like to focus on a few of the things that um, also stand out. So in Ghana, they have all white road lines, and they do drive on the right. So um, that is a clue there. Let's look up here. So we talked about the taxis in Senegal. In Ghana, they have like these bright yellow panels to highlight. Um, so that's very common to see in all of the major cities in Ghana. Also, Ghana is a very patriotic country. So their flag is red, yellow, green with a star in it. And you will see that pattern of colors on buildings, in marketing, in just all sorts of different places. So that's what we see there. This looks like it was so the new coverage, you can just barely make out the antenna of the car. And we'll see that up here as well. So the white lines, it does look quite a bit drier up here. So the gradient of tropical to desert is pretty stark, I guess. So, white lines, again, we see that thick spirally antenna. Unfortunately, you will also see this in Kenya, which we're not quite looking at today, but um, in Kenya, they have yellow lines. So um, we also have like these Brazil style poles. So um, that I think we may see this in Nigeria as well. So maybe not immediate uh, way to sort out the two. Oh, we're looking in Nigeria. Sorry. Okay, I did not go over far enough. So um, let me see. Okay, we looked at that taxi. Let's look at Accra. So this I think is the biggest city in Ghana. Here's another look at the car and the antenna. So a thick antenna there. Here we have more taxis. So they have the yellow or orange highlight. It's hard to say on these cars, but not necessarily white taxis or that. What else did I want to show in here? Um, I don't recall off the top of my head. Oh, so they have like the Chilean style poles. So it's hollowed out, but not the sections like they have in Brazil. So, um, and just a interesting thing that I've noticed as I've been looking through Ghana in the past few days just to learn the new coverage. And one thing I've noticed are these flags here, at least in the city of Accra. And I can't actually make it out here, but I'm pretty sure it says the New Patriotic Party. So it looked like there was a big election in 2004, and somehow this political party was able to get their flags. Here we go. Up all over the city. So something to look out for there. Um, and then here, I think hopefully show you another example of so those flag colors painted on a building. Let's take a quick look at the Plonket guide. So for Ghana, there's the flag over the country shape. We talked about this car. I mean, it is still in the game, so not completely gone, but you are going to see this truck with the thick antenna more often. But don't automatically go to Ghana if you see that, because it is very common in Kenya as well. So these taxis, a few more examples there. They use the white lines, and Ghana uses wooden poles with 3 insulators. Here's a few more examples of the Ghana flag on their architecture and their advertisements. And I don't know if we saw an example of that pole, but now let's go to Nigeria. So um, I figured we should probably start with the one that I got mixed up with. So they have these Brazil style poles with the sectioned out. Um, so you do look out, but the most common thing that you're going to see in Nigeria is a police follow car. So I think we actually saw around in Nigeria yesterday that did not have that police follow car. So yes, it is in most of the coverage, but we definitely did not see it yesterday or the day before, whenever that was. So you can find coverage without it, but that is a pretty dead giveaway that you're in Nigeria. So again, looks kind of more like a French style, but Brazil-ish style pole. Here's another police follow car. This one, there's another example that I'm looking for. What else do we have? I don't know if you. What did I want to point out here? I don't recall what this one was showing, but let's look here. Here we go. Um, One of the unique things in Nigeria is they have these very steep roofs. So it almost looks like they're hoping for snow. So I have a good friend who he likes to say, if you're going to pray for rain, bring an umbrella. And in Nigeria, they've been praying for snow, so they've built these really steep roofs. Of course, that's a joke, but uh, yeah, I don't understand why they would need such steep roofs, but that's what they do in this country fairly often. We may have There may have been another example in there as well, but there definitely is on the Plunkett guide. So the police follow cars. Oh, that's what I wanted to show, the license plate. So let me see if I can find that other example, because I think we could zoom in. Nope, that doesn't have license plates. One of these we have those license plates. So you can just barely make out that it's a little bit green there. This one is a little bit better. So it does have that green hue. And that is another way you can point out or figure out the Nigeria. So like these Brazil style poles, steep roofs, and I think that's good for Nigeria. Let's go up to Tunisia. So Tunisia is similar to Nigeria in that they also have a follow car. So they have Toyota pickup trucks. This one's slightly green. There's also a darker one as well, maybe two other darker ones. They do use Arabic writing in Tunisia. And then the other thing about the country is a lot of the buildings look really white. So just because of the stones that they're using out there. Let's take a look here. So here's a darker version of the follow car, kind of like a dark olive green, but it is that Toyota SUV. These poles, they look like they could be blown over by a stiff wind, like maybe like a kid with his erector set built these things. They they are very common in Tunisia, so keep an eye out for these flimsy looking um, utility poles, and then just some more really bright um, white buildings and the darker follow cars. So let's take a look at the guide. They do have black license plates, and yes, they do drive on the right. So I was correct there. Here are all of the follow cars. I think I've seen this one maybe once in the entire time that I've been playing. So you have the light green, the dark green, and then a white one. Um, we didn't. Most of this coverage that we're going to see is going to be urban because of the no moving maps that we're playing. I didn't show these signs, but they have the Arabic and Latin letters. And the other unique thing is a lot of them will point to the capital city of Tunis. So hopefully that should be a dead giveaway that you're in Tunisia. And I rarely see the stop signs, but they do have the Arabic and the stop. I don't. It's not unique to their country, so it can be found in Jordan and UAE. So I think that covers those African countries. Let's just take a look at our click location map. So as I mentioned at the top of the video, we started with like 7 different points where we were just identifying the continent, and we've drilled down to different locations and uh, have. So the idea is, as an experienced player, I don't want to be like making these amazing guesses that are just going to blow these new players out of the water. I'm kind of trying to limit myself to these points. So I've added Senegal. I'm putting that closer to Dakar because if most of the coverage is over here. Um, Ghana on Kumasai, and Nigeria right in Abuja, and then in Tunisia between Tunis and Sfax, so like Sousse, Montasser area. That'll get us in a good place there. And then for these 3 remaining African countries, we'll put it towards the west of Kenya. So they look fairly similar, at least the parts of them. So Kenya can get a little more desert than Uganda and Rwanda, but most of them look tropical aside from the desert area of Kenya. So I guess the other big not news, but replay is so all of Oceania. We haven't had too many issues with a few New Zealands that we could be playing with fire with New Zealand as well. But we're guessing middle of Australia. No, the New South Wales label on Australia, and then in North America for US and Canada, we're still just clicking in the middle of the US. Actually, we did read a sign last episode, and we clicked in Texas. So I think that was the first North America North one that we didn't click on the border of Kansas. So we've been pretty successful with this setup. So let me switch my camera back over and let's play some games. So we are 8th place. We are still just outside of the double promotion zone. I'm trying to stay within it, within the single promotion, but we'll see what happens. So game number 1 here. And we did a decent job with getting through those 4 countries in a short amount of time. So hopefully we can play a few games. Fairly newer player, only 32 games played. All right, let's start with the license plates. So looking a little bit longer, but hard to say. Where is our sun? Our sun is in the north. So let's look at, let's press Z. Let's look at this sign. It does look Spanish. How about the poles? The poles are round. Let's look at, so these look more like the Brazil license plates. So I think we can give it our Brazil guess, and then, which is down here. They went Ecuador, and yeah, Brazil was good. So those license plates helped us out there. They're slightly longer than most of the Americas, but not quite as long as the UK or Europe. So this is a longer plate. He is driving on the left. So I sort of had a slip there. It looks like English or and maybe Irish. So let's give it our Ireland guess. It could be Welsh, but it doesn't have a like ton of vowels just strung together. They seem to know where they were. So Ireland, good guess by both of us. Okay, we got kind of hilly. The buildings are very far apart. I'm kind of thinking British Isles again. Maybe is it like Scotland? I didn't see a license plate or anything. Where's our sun? Our sun is in the south, so yeah, let's put it up in the UK. And he did the same, and we were slightly closer with that Scottish hedge. So um, a little bit north of our typical guess. Okay, so we have English here. Our sun is in the north, and these look more like kind of security fences than they do like decorative fences. So um, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with our South Africa guess. So I think we put it about there, or Southern Africa, and yeah, that paid off really well. So press 1 for good game, and we'll take a look at that. So I think for the I see. I'm used to hitting that history button. The new things scare me. Um, but yeah, let's take a look at that last round because I think that was probably the one that we at least the newer players need to learn from because that was clearly difficult for our opponent. So um, we had the English and we had the sun in the north. So that kind of um, narrows it down to Southern Africa. So not just South Africa, but Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini. Um, and then we had, so the distinction that I've been talking about, like, I guess this fence does look a little decorative, but it is a little high. Like, um, so that one seems more like a security fence. Also, the road is um, not quite as pristine as you would see in Australia. Um, and then what else could I say about this? So yeah, very sandy. I mean, you will see some sandy um, uh, climate in Australia, but I think more often I would expect maybe redder dirt. Um, but yeah, these fences struck me as security fences rather than just because they're so high, rather than decorative fences. So I think that's the distinction there. Brazil, we looked at those license plates to figure it out. So we saw the language was uh, either Spanish or Portuguese, probably Portuguese in this instance, and then slightly longer plates with the blue strip on top. That is a Brazilian license plate. Then we had Ireland, so we had English and Irish on the sign, and we were driving on the left. I was able to figure that out really quickly today. So if you watched yesterday's video, you watched me struggle for what seemed like 15 minutes at the time, trying to figure out if I'm driving on the left or the right. Um, this one we had to go with vibes a little bit. So we talked about vibe guessing Europe in the previous episode. We didn't cover the British Isles, but like these stone houses are more common in Scotland rather than proper England. And the hills, so big hills with not a whole lot of vegetation could have pushed us even further up the map into Scotland. So yeah, I got slightly hedged a little further north. Regardless of if we had won that round or not, we would have won the game with this last one. So which we discussed at the top. So yeah, good win. And we're 7th place. It looks like if we have another win, we'll be in that double promotion zone, but I won't play this weekend and we'll hopefully be pushed back down. If not, that's all right. I think we're playing pretty well. I think our rating is going to be pretty high when we do get into the gold division. So, all right, we got service. This is not English, but Latin letters. Let's take a look. So long license plates. It does feel colder. I didn't talk about language yesterday, but like these O's kind of give me like a Scandinavian feel. So let's look at the signs here, see if we can find anything. Yeah, I don't think those are going to help us. So let's give it our what did I Nordic country guess. And unfortunately, our opponent is from one of those countries, so they probably have an advantage seeing some of these signs. And does the name of the truck match the city? Must. So unfortunate luck on that first one. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so we have, it looks very dry, very deserty. We saw a few examples at the start of the episode that kind of match this, so I'm immediately thinking Senegal. Just with that orange haze, it looks like we're in the Mexico of Africa. And then we do have the lat pull down bar. So let's send it to Senegal. And can our opponent figure it out? There's a few clues that they should be seeing. So we talked about the French bollards, which you can see there. And yeah, so a good adjustment by them at the last second to at least get out of the southern Africa. Okay, so this looks much colder. And let's see. It does look like Japan. So we have those reflectors there. We have the boxy cars with the yellow license plates. So put it here on the Japan label, which seems to always float around for us. And we are in the right country. And do a little more damage. So South Korea, that's a perfectly great guess. So when we initially went over those, we kind of said, if you're not sure, you can put it in between. Pretty tropical. We have Arabic and Latin letters. So I think in one of the very first episodes, I think I confused this city with Singapore. I think this might be Kuala Lumpur, but we'll give it our Southeast Asia guess and see if that's good enough. And they're going in the desert. So, and it was KL. We'll press number 1 to say good game. So it's good. Like as I continue to make these videos and practice commentating, I get better at recognizing some of the differences. I did it again. So if you don't want to hit history and just want to go right into it, you can hit that button there. Okay, so we had Norwegian, or sorry, Denmark here, but a Nordic country, Nordic-ish. And we saw the long license plates. It looked pretty cold and sparse in terms of buildings. And I wasn't able to get anything from this sign, so I said, let's just give it our Nordic country guess. And unfortunately, our opponent was from I think Denmark. So we bad luck there. And then we had Senegal, which we went over at the beginning. So just looks orange. And we do kind of see the truck here. And then I think we went one of the directions and we started to find the French style infrastructure. So the pole toppers and then the bollards that our opponent found. Japan, this was once we got into the city, it was pretty easy to identify Japan with the reflectors. And then let me show you what the car I was talking about here. So Japan, they tend to have these boxy vans or cars. And then I did see a yellow license plate here. I thought I saw it on that as well, but I was mistaken. But good guess there. Our opponent went South Korea. So um, in South Korea, they have instead of the vertical reflectors on their poles, they have diagonal and um, kind of like we saw when we looked at Taiwan, but in South Korea, they don't go to the bottom of the pole. So they will stop at least a few feet above it. So, and then finally, we had a very nice tropical city. I guess they probably saw the palm trees and the nice buildings, and they thought, oh, maybe like Dubai. But if you look at some of the other trees, other deciduous trees, um, that you're just not going to see those. You're not going to see other broadleaf trees in the Middle East anyway. So um, more tropical feel with those. So another good win, and let's keep going. So yeah, we've been playing pretty well. All right. Start looks European. Long license plate for sure. It's hard to say if it has blue on both sides or not, but it was a uh, trying to think of the name of the car. Was it a Fiat? No, I can't think of the name right now. Regular stop sign does look like a French flag. So all signs are pointing to France right now. And I am going to go with that. Sometimes knowing your car brands helps, or at least recognizing the symbol and what country that might be associated with. So um, that was a good spot there. Greece, okay. Um, I I probably can't read their mind there. All right, so immediately feeling like at least Latin America with this water tank and kind of the infrastructure here, or the architecture rather. It is a yellow license plate, so yellow would point me to Colombia. The mountains work for me, and the stop sign with the pare, and also uh, I thought those were going to be orange and black. I guess that is orange and black, but a brighter orange. So they missed the stop sign and then missed the continent, and that will be the game. So we'll go over that as well. And I don't know, some days, like, man, I think it was 2 days ago, we ran up against some opponents that were just on it and like didn't seem like they could guess wrong. But today we're getting people on the wrong continents and the wrong countries. So let's take a look at this. Uh, so that lion emblem, gosh, I can't remember it off the top of my head. Is it Renault? Is that their emblem? I don't recall, but French car company uses that. Um, and then we did find the French flag, and yeah, so here was the French flag, and there's probably some French here. Yeah, so rue for road, and typical Europe too. So we started looking for the license plates. I was looking for the blue on both sides of the license plate, which you will see in France. And then, okay, so the I would say that the landscape could definitely look like Spain, but the architecture is definitely more of a Latin America vibe. Especially with this water tank on top. Then we had the short license plates, the short yellow license plates. So that would for sure take us out of Europe. And then if you're still trying to figure out North or South America, So the Pare is in South America. Alto will be seen in North America and Latin America. So that is how we get to that. And yeah, let's keep going. Let's play at least one more. Okay, this person's on a roll. Let's see how we do. So maybe I jinxed us. Rio, Azul. We do have the Brazil poles and yellow on the inside, a yellow stripe on the middle of the road. So I think we can guess Brazil. He found an area code there. I think at this level, people are not memorizing the area codes, so hopefully we'll be okay. But no, he knows his area codes, so um, good placement there. Um, that is one thing for Brazil that is fairly easy to learn. So here's a stop sign with the squished down letters that we see in Spain. Also the bollards. These green bollards are very common in Spain. And then of course we have the long license plates, some palm trees, and lots of information right at the beginning. So I think we're up against a pretty decent player. Um, Interesting. If they know those islands, then good for them. They'll win the game. Um, Almost win the game. We are just not going to stand a chance here against this player. So, all right, we have some Cyrillic, and it's hard to say if that car is red, but yeah. So more Cyrillic. The roads are okay. Um, Anything else? Do we go? I mean, I haven't seen anything else that would suggest um, Ukraine over Russia. I guess okay. So maybe the crosswalk does not have the yellow, and it does have kind of have a red hue. I don't know. It's hard to say. Hard to say if we are Ukraine or not, or Russia. So those are the two that I'm debating here, and he's giving us plenty of time, which is fine. If he's been playing as well as he has been, it probably doesn't even matter what we guess. UA, so Ukraine. We talked about the domain names 2 episodes ago, I think. So UA is Ukraine. So we'll put it in the middle of the country. And they're going to do the same. A more specific location. And we finally won one here. Okay. So maybe, yeah. All right, let's see. We have looks like long license plates. And, um, I guess the buildings are a little more plain. So I'm kind of thinking towards the east of Europe. Let's see if we can find a sign maybe. Not It's not too run down or poor, so I think maybe just our Eastern Europe guess. So over here, I think that'll suit us. And they're looking similar. And they're finding a very specific location. Interesting. And it was Slovakia, and we're slightly closer again. So, good vibe guess there. Okay. Europe again. So we have the long license plates. We have, let's keep looking. Our houses are a little tighter, a little more rundown. Look at this roof. So It is fairly steep though. Let's see if we can find maybe some writing or um, here's some writing. So that is a very Polish font. So we'll give it our Eastern Europe guess. The vibes would kind of maybe make me want to go um, closer to the Balkan region, but I think with those unique Polish signs, we got to give it our Eastern Europe guess. So, and he'll just hedge us off a little bit, and he's slightly closer. So, but we're hanging in, and okay. So we are driving on the left. Let's see if we can see this giveaway sign. So we've talked about the giveaway signs to kind of save us for New Zealand. And yes, this is a red giveaway sign. I've given this tip every time we've seen one in Australia. We haven't seen one for New Zealand. If we want any chance of winning this game, we have to guess New Zealand here. So um, we'll see if our opponent can get in the right country. It looks they're looking pretty good. And yep, and man, we should have put it in the middle of the country. So they did win. Um, so it didn't matter that we guessed off of our Oceania guess there. We were just going to lose against that player every time we played. So um, let's give it a look here. So this was an impressive guess by our opponent. So we had Portuguese. I don't know if I looked at the language, but we had these Brazil poles, so that got us there. And then the yellow lines in the middle, and sun in the north, hopefully. Yes, so that got us to Brazil. Um, then we had, man, I don't know how he got these. Let's see how he got that island. So these islands here, because I have actually never gotten them even in my own games. So um, yeah, let's see how they figured it out. So I mean, I think they are a Spanish territory or islands. So you are going to see the Spanish infrastructure, airport, maybe the palm trees or the mountains. I don't know. I feel like there should be something that they know. Maybe I just need to play more and lose a few more times in that. So nothing jumped out at me that they noticed that we didn't. So that's unfortunate. Um, yeah, I just some of those areas you have to see a few times and then lose and then be like, okay, I've lost I don't know how many times on this. I need to go bring up the map maker. So I'll post a link to that today. Bring up the map maker and kind of put some pins down and see what that location looks like. So here we had the Cyrillic, and we kind of had a red hue on the car, so that kind of led us towards Ukraine, and we did eventually find the domain name to confirm Ukraine. So Slovakia, this was total vibe guessing. So we looked and we said, well, the buildings they look kind of plain, but uh, they're not falling apart. So not like Western Europe, but not Balkans. More Eastern Europe, and we gave it that Eastern European vibe guess. And we this one I likely would have. I mean, based on I think we saw a roof that was in kind of rough shape here. Um, yeah, here we go. But maybe this is a shed. So, um, but the other buildings, I mean, they aren't like extravagant. Kind of plain, a few decorations, but uh, nothing to be like, wow, like it doesn't look like an extremely rich country. We did see this sign here, so we've seen this font and like the T with the diagonal, um, and that is common in Poland. Also, this crosswalk, so in Poland they don't have any dashes on it; they just have the straight line. So that'll get you to the country there. And we just used our Eastern Europe guess, and then New Zealand. So finally, the giveaway sign, which I got excited about. So giveaway, the text is red, just like the stars on the New Zealand flag are red. Um, and in Australia, this giveaway will be black. So, and then we're driving on the left. um, I technically should have guessed the middle of the country just like he did, because we certainly haven't learned the country yet. But one of the hedges that I will often use in my own games is if it looks flat and boring or like this, then head go the North Island. If it looks like a mountain that a hobbit needs to climb over to return a ring, then go to New Zealand, or so go the Southern Island. Island, and that unfortunately didn't work out for us this time. So, um, and let's do one more game, and then we're gonna call it a day. So, uh, it it's tough when you run up against a really good player like that last guy. Um, So this is feeling European and confirmed with the long license plates. I would say these are kind of nicer homes. They're a little more spread apart. So I'm kind of thinking um, like either Northern or Western Europe. See if we can find any clues. I think that bollard we talked about in the last episode for Denmark. So we'll give it our um, I want to say Scandinavian countries that works. So we haven't defined Iceland yet, but we will. But Iceland is a Scandinavian country, and we're playing with fire there. But yes, it was that Denmark. So good start there. Um, but I think the vibes kind of match the Nordic. That's the word I was looking for. The Nordic country vibe that I was going for. So we have Spanish here. Where is our sun? Our sun is south, more south. Um, let's see what else we have. Uh, we do have the water tanks on top of the roofs, so I'm starting to think Mexico. The poles aren't quite working for me though. Yellow lines in the middle. Maybe this one is an octagon. Yeah, let's give it our Mexico guess. So, and our opponent is going to go Brazil. So, common mistake mixing up Mexico and Brazil. Um, yeah, we almost just defeat him right there. So make sure, like, I know the sun is not always accurate, but oftentimes it is. Um, if you're in a toss up, then go there. So this is one is feeling Nordic again. So we have these long lines on the sides of the roads. We have these uh, houses that are spread out pretty far apart. They're in good shape. Kind of had that wooden feel. This is probably Norway, but um, we'll give it our Nordic country guess. So with the big hills, I think Norway is a good guess. And our opponent's going to get there. and just slightly edge us out. And let's see if we can get at least one here. We just need one good guess, and we should win the game. Okay, so we have some tuk-tuks here. We do have a pretty big blur, and let's see, that's all English. Um, what else? Yeah, all English. Hyderabad's new benchmark. Huh. I'm having a hard time figuring out. I mean, I was thinking um, India. They do speak English in India. Let's see if this will help us. Um, hmm. Maybe maybe we'll look. I feel like Hyderabad. Yeah, Hyderabad just showed up on the list of cities. So hopefully, reading the sign will help us out here. And they are pretty far north, and we got it. So we'll press number 1 to say good game. And with that, I think I'm going to end the video. Um, and yeah, so if you learned something today, if you could give me a like, I'd really appreciate it. If you'd like to continue learning with this series, give me a subscribe, and then we'll show up right in your feed. And we'll see you in the next episode.